£1, 0 seconds. That's what the money saving expert website says hundreds of thousands of people are missing out on right now, and most of them have absolutely no idea it's happening. You could be one of them. This isn't some far-off policy debate in Westminster. This is money that should already be sitting in your name, and instead, HMRC has quietly let it slip through the cracks. And if you stick with me until the fourth point, I'll show you the one group almost nobody talks about, where a single missed form could be costing people tens of thousands of pounds over a lifetime of retirement. I'm James, and for years I've been breaking down exactly how the DWP and HMRC handle state pensions, because the truth is, they will not ring you up and tell you that you're owed anything. The system runs entirely on what you know to ask for, not on what you're actually entitled to. If you don't chase it, nobody chases it for you. There are 5 separate groups affected here, and the odds are good that you or someone you love fits into at least one of them. Let's go through them one by one. And remember, stay for the fourth one, because that's the one that's catching people out the most right now. Let's start with the biggest number on the table. Around 800,000 people who became self-employed anytime between 2015 and 2024 could have incorrect gaps sitting in their national insurance record. Here's what actually happened. When you register as self-employed, you fill in a self-assessment form. But there's a second separate form called the CWF1, and if that one wasn't submitted alongside it, HMRC may never have logged you as self-employed for national insurance purposes at all. That means you may not have paid the Class 2 contributions that quietly build your entitlement to the full state pension. Most people were handled correctly, but a significant number weren't, and the system won't flag it for you. If this is you, the first thing to do is go onto the gov.uk website and check your national insurance record. Look for any year marked as not full between 2015 and 2024. If you spot one and you know you were self-employed that year, that's your signal to contact HMRC directly and ask whether your Class 2 contributions were correctly recorded. But what if you never even ran your own business? That's the next one. And it might surprise you how many people it touches. If you took time off work between 1978 and 2010 to care for children or to look after someone with a long-term illness or disability, hundreds of thousands of people in that position never received the national insurance credits they were owed. These aren't small numbers either. Missing even a handful of qualifying years can mean the difference between a full state pension and one that falls noticeably short every single week for the rest of your life. The government will not contact you about this. There is no letter coming. You have to go and check it yourself, using your national insurance record online, cross-referencing the years you know you were out of paid work caring for someone against what's actually logged on your file. Now, here's one that catches a huge number of women completely off guard. If you're a woman who reached state pension age before 2016, and you were married, divorced, or widowed, there's a real chance your pension should have been boosted using your ex-husband's, or your late husband's national insurance record. And in some cases, men in the same position were affected too. This isn't a rare clerical slip. It's happened to hundreds of thousands of people, and the amounts involved have run into the tens of thousands of pounds in some verified cases. If this applies to you or to your mother, checking is straightforward. Use the missing state pension guidance to compare what you're actually receiving against what you should be receiving, based on a spouse's contribution record. And if there's a gap, you contact the pension service directly to have it corrected. Now, this next one. This is the one I told you to wait for. Most people have never even heard that this exists, and it's one of the most quietly lucrative corrections available. If you're a parent who claimed child benefit, but it was your partner who ended up with a national insurance credit attached to it, possibly because you assumed it didn't matter, or because your partner was the one who earned more, you can apply to have those credits retrospectively transferred back into your name. And it doesn't stop with parents. Grandparents and other family members under state pension age who looked after children under 12 while the parents were out working can apply to have those same credits transferred to them instead. Think about that for a second. A grandmother who spent years doing the school run and looking after her grandchildren while her daughter went back to work could be entitled to national insurance years, completely free, simply for something she was already doing out of love and never once thought to claim for. Let me bring this to life for a moment. Picture Joan. Joan is 63. She spent 4 years in her 50s looking after her granddaughter 2 days a week so her daughter could keep her job. It never crossed her mind that this counted for anything official. She assumed it was just what grandmothers do. It was only when her daughter stumbled across this exact rule online that Joan checked her own national insurance record and realized she had a gap sitting right where those 4 years should have been. One form later, that gap was gone, and her forecasted state pension went up for the rest of her life. Joan didn't do anything differently. She just found out the rule existed in time to use it. Here's a smaller loop closing before we move on. If Joan's story sounds familiar, you might be in exactly the same position right now without knowing it. And the final group is one that affects younger people just as much as those approaching retirement. If you're anywhere between 16 and state pension age, and you provide unpaid care for at least 20 hours a week for someone who receives a qualifying benefit, including personal independence payment or disability living allowance, you are entitled to free national insurance credits. This applies even if the person you're caring for is your own partner or your own child. A lot of people caring for a disabled family member simply don't realize this exists because nobody in the system proactively tells them. If this is you, look up CARES credit specifically and apply directly. It costs you nothing, and every year you claim protects your future pension. So here's where this leaves you. 5 separate ways the system may already owe you money. And in every single case, the DWP and HMRC are relying on the fact that most people never think to check. To recap quickly, self-employed workers between 2015 and 2024 may have missing Class 2 contributions because of a missing CWF1 form. Anyone who cared for children or a disabled relative between 1978 and 2010 may have missing credits nobody flagged. Women and some men who reached state pension age before 2016 may be underpaid based on a spouse's contribution record. Parents and grandparents may be entitled to retrospectively transfer child benefit-related national insurance credits. And unpaid carers doing 20 hours a week or more may qualify for free credits right now, today. If you know someone who's already retired or someone who spent years quietly caring for a grandchild or a parent without ever claiming for it, send them this today. It could be the difference between a state pension that falls short every single week and one that finally reflects everything they actually put in. Subscribe now, because the next rule change like this one won't come with a headline big enough to warn you in time. And I'd rather you hear it from me before the deadline passes, not after. Because at the end of the day, the system was never built to remind you what you're owed. It was built to wait until you ask. So ask. I'm James, and I'll see you in the next one.